Last night I was at the live stream of this somewhat famous sex worker who I follow on Twitch. Obviously she doesn't, do sex on Twitch. She just is a sex worker, and then she, plays games and stuff like that. And she was expressing some fears yesterday. She doesn't generally get political in her streams, but she was saying, I'm concerned right now. Like, I'm concerned for my trans friends. I'm concerned for my occupation, stuff like that. And I found myself getting so frustrated because her audience, which, as you would assume, as a attractive, sex woman herself, sex worker woman herself, her audience is predominantly cis men. And they were all like, don't worry about it. Like, it's all propaganda. It's all, the social media algorithm trying to depress you and everything. Like, just ignore it. Just focus on you. You're fine. It's all going to be fine. And it was driving me fucking bonkers because here she is, a vulnerable person. I mean, she has a womb. She's a sex worker, not to mention, God forbid, she care about other people who are going to be, who are suffering even worse under her. And then you got all these fucking cis men who are just like, nah, it's fine. Things are not that bad right now. And just the level of like privilege, not just privilege though, because a lot of these dudes are going to be affected too. But they are so used to living in a world where, until shit gets real bad, it doesn't directly affect them, not in ways that they can see. And so to them, it's easy to just be like, yeah, everything's fine. And so, I don't know. I just was getting really frustrated. I did try to kind of subtly be like, it's good for you to be concerned. You can, it'd be hard for her to go to protest because she's like a public figure. So, she'd be recognized. And when Trump does start throwing, not just, pro-Palestinian protesters, but anyone in jail, or worse, someone like her is vulnerable because, they could be like, oh, hey, it's what's her name, and throw her in jail. Anyway, I did kind of try to subtly be like, it's good that you're concerned, and, you can volunteer. Like, there's a couple of different things you can try to do so that you're not feeling quite as helpless. But yeah, I don't know. It just pissed me off. Things are really fucking bad right now, and they're rapidly getting worse. And I'm glad that Canada didn't go super far right with the Trump candidate and stuff like that. But it just, I don't know. Men need to fucking wake up. Cis men need to fucking wake up because you're being affected too. And, you shouldn't need to be personally affected by a horrible thing to care about it. But you are living in a fantasy land if you think that you won't be affected. The only people who are coming out on top, and even that, they're going to suffer from climate change, even in their, bunkers and whatnot, are straight white cis men. Those are the only rich. Can't forget the rich. And by rich, I mean millions and millions, if not billions, because even millionaires are still going to feel the effects of, food shortages and everything like that. You're going to be affected. And you can stick your head in the sand and pretend like, oh, well, everything's not that bad. It's other people's problems. That's not going to stop fascism. And if you are a cis man, a cis white man who's just convinced that it's not that big of a deal, I implore you to wake the fuck up. I implore you, if you won't be involved yourself, at the very least, don't fucking lie out of your anus and tell people who are directly in the line of fire that it's not a big deal. If you are not going to help, get the fuck out of the way.